For my Christian group presentation, I chose to do Calvinism. However, since I was alone, I only focused on the origin and founders of Calvinism. Additionally, I included some information about what Calvinism actually is and some of its teachings. Born on July 10, 1509 in Noyon-Picardy, France, John Calvin was a Protestant reformer, and right here you can actually see a picture of him. Upon becoming a student at the University of Orleans, Calvin joined the cause of the Reformation. With this, he was well endowed with the teachings of Martin Luther and actually agreed with them. In 1536, Calvin published Institutes of the Christian Religion, which would serve to become the manual of Protestant theology, according to Britannica.com. So now here you can see his home in France where he's actually born, and this here is a picture of Martin Luther himself. Here you can see a picture of the Institutes of the Christian Religion, and I will now be going over the spread of Calvinism. So naturally, one person cannot be responsible for the spread of Calvinism. People such as Huldrych Zwingli and Heinrich Bullinger in Zurich and Martin Bucer in Strasbourg also helped to spread the ideology. Additionally, during Calvin's lifetime, he found himself living in Geneva, Switzerland. It was here that he welcomed and trained the many people who took refuge in Geneva due to the growing intolerance from England, France, Scotland, and other Calvinism-affected areas. With this, he trained them to become ministers who would spread the gospel and form the center of the movement. This would set an example for those around the world. And so now here you can actually see a picture of Geneva, and these are the sources that were used. Here you can see some of the reasons for Calvinism. While Calvin agreed with much of Martin Luther's teaching, there were some places which he disagreed. This essentially was what caused the formation of the Calvinist/Reformed Church. One of the areas which Calvin differed was the view of saints in the crucifix. He only accepted the use of a simple cross. Additionally, Calvin was strict against all forms of music and art. The only form which he allowed was the singing of the psalms. Another difference between the two was that Luther found refuge in the fear of God, opposed to Calvin, who calmly contemplated the frightfulness of God's judgment, as there was no reason for the elected to be punished. Now that I talked about the history and founders of Calvinism, I want to tackle more of the teachings of Calvinism. So Calvinism overviews how human life should be ordered personally, socially, religiously, and politically while remaining loyal and true to God. A more simple way to put it is by using the term TULIP, which is a popular acronym used by those who observe Calvinism. TULIP stands for total depravity, unconditional election, limited atonement, irresistibility of grace, and final perseverance of the saints. On another note, at some point, Calvinism became focused on who the elect were. With this, Calvin believed in double predestination, which means that God has already chosen those who will be saved and those who will not. Additionally, Calvinism stressed sanctification, which is the purification from sin through obedience to the Holy Scriptures, as God is always watching. In conclusion, I'd like to say that Calvinism was founded so long ago, but remains crucial to the history and future of Christianity, and even those who are yet to learn the teachings of Calvin and the other reformists. Thank you for your time. This concludes my presentation on Calvinism and the Reformed Church.